fundamentals. So here we go. We're getting right into it.
Now I'm thinking when I see Use on the vector here, I'm thinking he just came back from shooting down the Chinese weather balloon that was in the air. So you should be warmed up off of that one. He's going to be flying all over the place. But SAC coming in with the Asuri pick. SAC is, of course, a longtime teammate of who? Kaina, who was kind of just playing Taza?
Asuri.
So they probably have some experience that they've learned from each other. With that Asuri, we're already seeing the Qatar strings coming out, doing actual Qatar things, not just getting hit for hit, maybe going back, backing up, waiting for my opponent to whiff an attack, then hitting the 2-piece or a 1-piece.
Oh, man. Now the question is, how much experimental has Yu's been playing? I'm wondering if that will show up. All right, well, there's a down sig, but that's the really good one on Bo that he's been making great use of all throughout his career playing this character. Here comes the delay recovery from SAC, just evening that up right away. But I think that downsig was pretty huge because I would say Use was on the back foot for the majority of that first stock until that downsig connected. So we've got an even game now, and the bow is picked up. Man, something about that bow scan is just like makes it look like it's like twice as.
It looks huge.
Yeah. With the downsig as well. In
he's not playing bow. He's playing great bow. He's got some like elvish long bow out there.
Oh my goodness. Side air hits and Use gets caught out of his jumps as well. Amazing play coming up from Qatar so far. SAC's Qatars are a lot more like I'm hitting you once a lot very quickly, but I wouldn't exactly say that they're strings. He's like hitting him, used as a jump option. He covers that. He's covering that as well. And he's just getting a huge amount of mileage out of it. Use in the meantime is just like literally saying, get off me with how many downsigs that he's hit.
Then that's exactly what he should be doing. Anytime SAC is on top of him that much, just throw out that down signature. It's going to cover both sides wherever SAC is, whether he's in front or behind you. You're going to cover that. Use has done that so well. I think anytime that I think about the Lance downsig and how bad it is, I think about how good this downsig is, and you love that ground pound. You said it earlier.
I mean, I love how Use did that ground pound. I never even imagined that being a possibility. The wake-up buffered ground pound there off that jump into a side light. Oh, the neutral light into dash jump. Sarah, turn around. Use.
Oh, this is scary.
3 nairs in the recovery. That could have been the stock. Side light nair. Use goes in for the pivot side air. Once again, the side air hits and SAC disarmed. It's been all Use's Lance, and the downsig would have been the, oh my God, it would have been the perfect finisher. Instead, he goes for the nair as well. And Use has just been on fire on this last stock. Can he get this final hit, or can SAC return? No, he cannot. That Sarah comes through, and Use just turned up to $1 million. That was crazy. We got
so
the last
fast
stock scenario, and then it was just the Use show on the Lance.
Now, we almost saw SAC actually fall into the D-Sig. He was in sweat beads, about to fall into it when it came out.
That. Well, after that ground pound hit, Use was just kind of like, all right, it's time.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
He turned on Yuzo mode, and he went crazy. Now we're going to Apocalypse. Use already up 1 game.
Yeah, so despite the explosive victory there coming out from Use in game number 1, I was about to comment about how I felt like SAC's playstyle was so aggressive and that he was staying so stacked onto Use that it was really tough for Use to do anything other than, say, get off me with the downsig. But what happened all of a sudden was Use woke up, got that ground pound, and then just had one combo start that he just never really let go. And I wonder if SAC's going to be able to get back into the game here in game number 2 after that happened, because once Use did that with the Lance, I kind of feel like he's unlocked something in this matchup. That neutral sig was crazy.
The swagger and confidence that he had when he threw out that neutral signature, charging up the recovery, getting the KO off the top.
Where was SAC going to go?
the way that SAC has to be on top of Use when he has the Qatars in his hands makes me want him to move off of the Qatars and focus more on sword. Neutral signature, it seems to be the great equalizer. We'll see what weapon he wants to stick with. It seems like, yeah, it is going to be the Qatars. That's obviously the most of the damage. 74% of his total damage output last game was on those Qatars.
Yeah, and he's looking great on it as well. I think it's just a matter of him doing a better job with his spacing. I don't think he should change his game plan, because honestly, I think the game plan's working really well. Except for when Use gets moments like
he's going to get, oh no.
He go to the other side. Use went for the craziest drop weapon throw that I ever saw. I wasn't sure if he gotten the full amount of fastball that he needed to do that, but he still went for it anyways. Sidelight comes through. Looked like that he was trying to chase dodge down Sig, but he got a ground pound out instead. And no, his move does not come out in time. SAC is applying the pressure there with the Qatars. That's gonna be
and
a
the
stop.
ground pound picks that one up, gets the KO off the bottom. He's definitely going to swap into some fresh pair of Katars here for him.
Ooh.
Gets away from that barely. I don't think that would have KO'd. Zach's still in the orange. We'll see next time he gets hit. Yes, he is still in the orange, even after that side air.
Oh, that Sarah tried to come through. Zach gets hit by a sidelight in there. Recovery, huge from Hughes. Great job with that string, equalizing the stocks. Man, they're really just kind of taking turns slugging each other. Like this is a really great match between these two players. It really can go either way in this game too, and I think it's just going to matter who gets started first. SAC has Hughes on the edge guard, but Hughes landing with that nair means that he's covering the landings. And Hughes really uses his chase dodge to get up there in the air and continue with the juggle, as you said, but they go back to neutral.
SAC instantly swapping over. Dude, Hughes is juggling so hard. And, like, nairs are not the most, like, diabolical move in the entire game, but, like, they do damage, and they have the ability to just chain them back to back, picking up 2 almost every time.
And what's terrifying about them is that they do damage, and they can lead into attacks that can knock you out, like the recovery if you're not careful, which we saw Hughes do in the last stock. That neutral comes through. SAC with the side air. Hughes has to be careful. He falls to the end light. That nair comes through. SAC gets the side light delay. Is the recovery going to come through? No. That neutral ended. Oh, he went for the reset onto the dodge in, and Hughes goes out. Okay, this is SAC's lead. He goes in for the down sig, and Hughes utter genius from that moment. He did the same thing that we saw him punish with on the bow here for game number 2, right? SAC, I was like, the ball's in your court. What are you going to go for? He goes for a down stick here, and I feel like any other player sees this moment and just wants to get the heck out. But he waits out the move, dodges up, and he doesn't even dodge up. He just jumps up, goes into the ground pound. Okay, that's even crazier.
That's huge.
He waited out the hitbox, gets behind him, does the jump ground pound, and gets the knockout to clutch a game that was absolutely in SAC's favor. And now it's a 2-0 lead for Hughes despite this game going back and forth, what, like 17 times in 2 games?
That was a really bold move at the end for SAC to make. That was a really dangerous move for SAC to make at the end because it really put him over that corner.
He bet on the exclamation points, and I honestly don't blame him for it. He was like, you've got to come back eventually, and I'm going to catch you. And he thought he had a soul read, and it turns out Hughes did.
Yep.
that was crazy.
He said, call an ambulance, but not for me. Hughes coming in this game, 30 seconds in, even damage so far. We'll see if that really shakes SAC to his core because he had moments of genius with the Qatar play last game. He has Hughes in the red. He has the damage lead here. Hughes swapping over to the bow. I expect to see those get off me tools, the D6 coming out anytime SAC wants to get close. Again, another huge commitment. This time, it doesn't lead to a stock.
The neutralites from SAC, he's never tried to follow it up with a downlight recovery or anything like that so far. That down stick will catch Hughes just posting up on the left side of the stage, and now he is 3-2. This is the biggest lead that SAC's had so far. Hughes tends to get these back right away, but SAC with 2 end lights and a neutral signature has Hughes off stage. Let's see this. Side air comes through, SAC without a recovery. Hughes really tried to catch him fast falling, doesn't get it, and that recovery will be some extra damage. Pick up, no Sair. He can't get the stock, and this is the first time, Sparky, that I think SAC is going to really be able to run away with some extra credit.
He's still living. He's in a decent spot. I think if he catches a side air and it's not from the wrong side of the stage, I think he's going to be pretty good. Now has Hughes in the orange, almost a full stock ahead. There is a weapon spawn on the field. I believe it's going to be the bow. Oh, Hughes tries to go in with the D-Light like kind of did earlier, right on top of that weapon spawn. But no, SAC continues to find punishes, says, I don't want you to have that weapon. I used it as a trap, but now I'm going to pick it up for myself. Going to do the same thing here as he picks up the Qatars, back to his weapon of choice.
Yeah, SAC is completely content, neutralighting 7 million times in a row. And not following it up with anything as long as he's guarding a landing or a weapon spawn. I've seen this, and I now understand what SAC's game plan is a little bit better after watching that moment there, because he's just kind of like, look, the amount of damage that I rack up is going to be perfectly fine if I can hit 5 end lights in a row, because how I'm going to knock you out has nothing to do with the neutral light. Hughes is now so high in damage that D-Light side air, recovery, anything on the sword will do, but Hughes with that down tick, that's like his hidden special move. I mean, it's crazy how well he's been working with that. But that side air will do it finally. SAC takes Hughes down, and You did a good job coming back there, but I still give this game number 3 solidly in SAC's lead, although I guess I've said that every single game so far. So
yeah, we could see that just quick revenge KO right away. SAC going to do everything he can to prevent that. Already found a 2-piece. That side air, he's going to drag along the ground a little bit. It's going to interrupt the momentum. Oh, he thought he could chase, but Hughes was around the corner, had that recovery turned around, got the KO off the top. There's maybe like 40 damage on this stock from Hughes, so he can easily turn this around. We've already seen him put out a lot of damage very quickly. Now he's for sure in the yellow.
Yeah, definitely. I'm waiting for these down air landings from Hughes. There's one, but he's been mainly going for the side airs. Nice neutral light, gets in with that nair, picks up a fresh lance, get a nair side, another nair, Hughes. This is those moments, those explosive moments that Hughes is able to use to get back into the game. Sidelight nair goes to the recovery, SAC dodges away, panic recoveries, and that side air catches him jumping. Hughes goes all the way out with an unarmed Sair, makes it back and goes over the slide charge side stick. Is that going to be the game?
That was a bold move from Hughes. He's definitely not lost the game on that alone, but he hasn't really had a successful side signature. He threw one out on the stage, didn't really do anything. Almost, not quite yet. SAC did that D-Light so early. I think he ripped that. I don't know if that was a bait to get the dodge. Still closes out the game, keeps himself in this. We're going to game 4, Tazza.
Oh, and the damage was dead even to the very last hit there. I think it was a difference of 20 off of that recovery off the top. And you survived some nail biters there towards the end, but it was the bread and butter from SAC that was able to get that knockout there right off the top. And what a game indeed as we're going into game number 4. And I'm glad to see it, Sparky, because I did not feel like a 3-0 did justice to how often Hughes was clutching each and every game. As we're getting into this game 4 right back on Brawlhalla.
And we've now seen that SAC adaptation as well, because last game it was looking basically just as explosive for Hughes once we got to the end of it, and Hughes ended up taking that one. But all of a sudden there in game 3, things were a little bit different. SAC was able to turn that one around, hold his composure. He's taking a lot of damage on this bow. We may see Hughes focus on this bow a little bit more. The neutral on it was incredible. The juggle's coming out. His classic lance, one of the weapons he is most proficient at.
Oh, and the down stick catches the landing there and Hughes for the first time as a huge lead. It's so funny watching him go off stage for these weapon throw edge guards because his follow-up is unarmed Sair. And I'm like, that's just not what I'm used to seeing players go for, but Hughes has shown that he's a fan of that follow-up, even if it doesn't quite work. I love how fast Hughes is after he hits the side airs. These diagonal chase dodges into nairs are catching SAC off guard. It's catching me off guard as I'm watching. I'm just realizing, oh my god, he can't follow up with that. The neutral stick launches straight up into the sky and sends SAC onto a ride of his life to the right side of the stage and off to the blast zone as he's now up 3-1 in game number 4.
What a beautiful spot for that neutral signature to pick SAC up. He was in orange on that, so the efficiency on that KO, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's a crazy signature.
Oh, he's adding this damage up. The beginning of these stocks, his neutral with the bow is so clean.
Oh, that might be it. Okay, no. Okay, he did not pick the bow back up. Weapon throw hits. Hughes gets back with an unarmed recovery, goes in for the nair, and SAC can't follow up off the downlight, and Hughes is looking like he's going to get a 3-stock in this game. Side stick comes through. He gets hit. Gravity catches a neutral stick just to fly back onto the stage. The nairs are coming through, and Hughes might put it through again.
Oh,
he bounces off the
back
wall.
from the stage, and that moves him away from the incoming punish from SAC. What a move!
That's, you know, I will admit, that's one of the interactions I haven't seen used competitively before. There's a lot of, you know, until you see it, you don't really know what could happen. I mean, depending on he's
oh, he is pixels away.
In that moment, right? You've got to be feeling a little bamboozled there because the lance is Vector while he's in the ship, and he literally transformed in the midst of the ground pound that he committed to. That is just well.
Pranav, send me that replay.
Wow.
Thanks.
You know, sometimes you gotta learn valuable lessons in the midst of tournament play. That doesn't feel the greatest, but it's not.